Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā karangatanga maha o te motu, tēnā koutou katoa. Ki ngā tāngata whenua o tēnei rohi, tēnā koutou. Ki ngā rangatira, ngā manuhiri tuārangi, ngā kai whakawhiwhi tohu, ngā kai pūtaiao, me ngā kai whakaruruhau o te ao pūtaiao, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Monique Bradley tōku ingoa. He kai kōrero ahau. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa, kia ora. Well, nau mai haere mai ki ngā New Zealand Science Awards. Today we are here to celebrate all of the finalists and the winners of this amazing award, the New Zealand Science Awards for 2026. Today we will be showcasing researchers, projects and collaborations from 3 public research organisations: Bioeconomy Science Institute, PHF Science and Earth Sciences. At the end of this event, we will also announce the Supreme Award winner. I could not be more excited. Special acknowledgements to Annabelle McAleer from Shared Science and Damien Christie from Aotearoa Science Agency for helping pull together the amazing stories that you are about to see and hear. Can we please give them a big round of applause? And now, before we begin, the housekeeping. First of all, should the fire alarm sound, please evacuate the venue via the same route you entered or via the nearest safe exit. Please follow the directions of the security staff and the fire wardens. And our assembly point outside is in Bolger Park at the rear of Parliament. Now, if it so happens that there is a medical emergency, please refrain from calling 111. Please inform the security or the venue staff immediately. In the hopefully unlikely event of an earthquake, touch wood, we're going to be fine. But you know the story: drop, cover and hold until it stops. We also ask that you stay clear of these beautiful big windows, stay inside and the venue staff will look after you. Now, on your arrival into this incredible venue, you will have been issued with a visitor's sticker just like this. I feel like I'm on an aeroplane right now, like this. So please ensure it is clearly visible and do not remove or discard it. For your convenience, the bathrooms are just located behind you, just around the corner and around to the left. And as we are on Parliament grounds, all Parliament buildings are smoke-free. Brilliant. Now finally, phones. Please switch your mobile phone to silent for the duration of the event. Photos are permitted to be taken here within this space, but do not take any images outside of this venue. Make sense, everyone? Perfect. I got some nods. That's wonderful, wonderful. Now, I'd like to start by making a few acknowledgements tonight. Firstly, kia ora and welcome to everyone watching the formal part of the event on live stream. I believe we have people watching from all across the country, so ngā mihi nui ki a koutou. Everybody, can you join me in saying a big kia ora to everybody watching online? Kia ora. That was quite good. We're going to try that one again. Everybody, kia ora. 1, 2, 3, go. Kia ora. Much better. And I want to also say a massive gratitude to our professional photographer, Monali Photography, who will be taking photos this evening. Now, if you do wish to be excluded from those photos, please just let Mona know. I believe she is floating around. She's at the back. You won't be able to miss her. She's the one with the camera, just in case. Now, I would finally and officially like to acknowledge today our very special guests, our members of Parliament, our diplomatic corps, industry peers, government and science system leaders. Welcome and thank you for your service. So what can you expect from this afternoon? We have 5 award categories, and after each category is announced, A video will play featuring each of the finalists. Now, following that, the winner will be announced, and we ask that the winner remains seated while a feature video about them will play. I will then invite the winner up to the stage to collect their award and pause on the tees here on the ground for a photo. After those 5 categories, the Supreme Award winner will be announced and will be invited to come up to the stage, pause on the tee for the photo, and can then share a few remarks. So, to get us officially started, I would like to acknowledge the Science, Innovation and Technology Minister, the Honourable Penny Simmons, who is unable to get to the awards until 6 p.m. this evening, but has provided a pre-recorded opening address. So let's take a look.
Kia ora tātou, and it's a pleasure to open this event and acknowledge everyone gathered to celebrate public researchers' outstanding achievement in science, innovation and technology. While I'm unable to join you in person at the moment, I look forward to being there later this evening to join your celebrations and hear more about the fantastic work that you have underway. The Science New Zealand Awards are about each of you, your work, and the impact you make for New Zealand and the world, an impact that is increasingly important as we navigate rapid scientific and technological change. This government is progressing the most significant reforms of New Zealand's science, innovation and technology system in decades to ensure that New Zealand and our institutions can keep up with this pace both now and into the future. These reforms will help build a more connected and purposeful system that delivers meaningful benefits for New Zealanders. We are moving from design into implementation, and my ambition is clear: to build a system that is more connected, responsive, and aligned to New Zealand's long-term priorities. The government's newly announced Transition Research Fund is a clear step towards a more strategic science funding system that is easier to navigate and aligned to government priorities. It brings funding that would otherwise be allocated through future rounds of the Endeavour and Marsden Fund into a single fund to support impactful, investigator-led research from fundamental research to collaborative programs. While we are a small nation, our scientists are solving big problems that matter here and globally, from earthquake resilience to sustainable and innovative food production. Our public research organisations are central to this. You are part of a connected and collaborative system, not just a single PRO. The awards being celebrated this evening reflect not only individual excellence, but the collective strength of New Zealand's research community. Its ability to combine expertise, share infrastructure, and work across boundaries to tackle complex challenges that no single organisation could address alone. This collaborative approach is something we need to see even more of, as our research system is at its most powerful when organisations work together alongside our universities and industry partners. At the heart of all this are people. Our public research sector holds a wealth of knowledge and capability, and I know those who work within it are passionate, dedicated, and driven to make a difference. That is why it is so important that we take opportunities like this to celebrate not just institutions, but individuals and the contributions they make. And it's especially important during times of change to give that recognition. Looking ahead, New Zealand must continue to be at the forefront of discovery, innovation, and commercialisation. We must be a nation that encourages curiosity, nurtures talent, and backs the research that will deliver meaningful benefits for New Zealand. Thank you again for the work you do, and congratulations to all those being recognised this evening. I look forward to hearing your stories and celebrating with you shortly. Ngā mihi nui. Thank you.
It is now my very great pleasure to welcome the Chair of Science New Zealand and CEO for PHF Science to the stage. Please welcome Professor Sir Ashley Bloomfield.
Well, tēnā koutou katoa. I must say it's very nice to be at a podium that is not in the Beehive Theaterette. Good evening to you all. Welcome. Look, on behalf of my PRO Chair and Chief Executive colleagues, it's my great pleasure to make a few comments and just extend the warm welcome to you tonight. Thank you so much for the introduction there. We have a fantastic turnout tonight. It speaks volume, I think, to the importance of these awards and of the mahi that is done across our public research organisations in Aotearoa. And I want to acknowledge especially the parliamentarians, the diplomatic staff, our research partners, and those who have travelled from around the motu to be here tonight. It's a special occasion, and it's really important that we celebrate and acknowledge the achievements of our organisations and of our scientists and others. We're recognising the achievements of outstanding kaimahi across Aotearoa New Zealand's public research organisations, scientists, researchers, technicians and support teams are here to help shape a more prosperous and resilient future for Aotearoa. And a notion I came across recently that I think is really apposite to tonight is that of excellence as persistence, not excellence as perfection. And I think we will get a flavour of that in some of the finalists and the award winners that we will see tonight. But science, of course, does not happen in isolation, not just in laboratories or out around the motu. We are celebrating also and recognising those who we work with, our partners who make this impact possible, industry, iwi and Māori organisations, communities, our colleagues from across government, universities and the international research community. And it's these deep and enduring partnerships that are so important for sustaining the effort that we will need to take into the future. So we're celebrating not just excellence tonight, that is excellence as persistence, but excellence in discovery, collaboration, innovation, and the translation of ideas into tangible outcomes that actually create benefits for New Zealand, whether it's improving environmental resilience, strengthening New Zealand's economy, or enhancing well-being. The work recognised here demonstrates the breadth and value of our science system. It's something we can all be proud of. And this year, 2026, has some added significance. Many of you are probably aware, and last week we launched, as PROs, a little bit of a campaign, I guess, to celebrate 100 years of DSIR, of actually publicly funded research in Aotearoa New Zealand, and that was established, including through the DSIR, in 1926. And last week, as I said, we launched Science Working for New Zealand campaign, and I want to acknowledge Mark Piper, who put that on the map late last week, and you'll see we are we are going to showcase 100 stories of how science has benefited this country and beyond, of course, because our reach goes beyond Aotearoa. Also significant this year, and it wasn't one of my KPIs, but as Chair of Science New Zealand, I increased our membership by 33% by adding one more PRO into the mix. So we've got our colleagues here tonight from the New Zealand Institute for Advanced Technology, and of course they are already ramping up their work and adding that new or strengthening that dimension of the science and technology that's developed in Aotearoa. And also just recognising, and the Minister referred to this, the changes that are happening in our science system and the absolute professionalism and focus of our people who have continued to deliver fantastic work even through that, what is of course a disruptive change, as all change is, but they have really walked towards it and leant in, and I'm proud of the way they have responded. So before we move into our future celebrations, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge one of last year's Lifetime Achievement Award finalists who has since passed away. This is Dr. Dave Lethwick. And now he was a leading parasitologist at BSI, the Bioeconomy Science Institute, deeply respected within the scientific and farming communities for his contribution to animal health and the productivity of New Zealand agriculture. His work exemplified the real-world impact of our science, and he inspired many and has left behind an incredible legacy. Finally, events like this do not happen without a lot of effort, and I would like to acknowledge the independent judging panels for the very difficult task of selecting our award winners tonight. So Dame Professor Juliet Gerard, Dr. Willie John Martin, Professor Pauline Harris, Professor Katha Simpson, Dr. Prue Williams, and Dr. Tanera Kingi. A big thank you, ngā mihi to you all. And also a very special thanks to our small but mighty team. That's in my notes, but I can endorse the fact they are mighty. The team at Science New Zealand, who pulled all the awards work together, and you're a really important role for not just pulling this event together, but for supporting collaboration across the system. Do enjoy the evening. I hope you will feel as inspired as I already do. I've had the opportunity to sign the award certificates, but I am not to be bribed. I'm not going to give anything away before the awards are presented shortly. So nō reira, e mihi ana kia koutou katoa, mō koutou mahi nui. Tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa.
Thank you so much, Professor Sir Ashley Bloomfield. Delighted to have you here, and thank you so much for your wonderful words. All right, it is time to get underway. Are you a little bit excited? Just me. That's okay, we're okay. Okay, moving into our first award category. It is the Collaboration for Impact Award. The Collaboration for Impact Award celebrates how collaboration between research organisations and external partners leads to material impact for the nation. Our finalists illustrate the collegiality and collective strength across the Science New Zealand membership, as well as connectedness to sector groups and end users, contributing to the well-being and prosperity of Aotearoa New Zealand. So, let's take a look.
So for more than 100 years, we've had this problem called facial eczema, and it affects cattle and sheep in New Zealand who eat grass that has a toxic fungus on it. And what we found is there's actually 2 species in pasture.
While the 2 species look identical under the microscope, one of them makes the facial eczema toxin and the other one doesn't.
So this was a truly broad collaboration project. We couldn't have done this without those beef and lamb farmers providing us grass samples from all across the country.
What I discovered was the immense knowledge and perspective that we got from collaborating with different organisations. We had people in beef and lamb advocating for their farmer groups, and our perspectives from the agricultural setting, you know, all coming together. It was a very powerful combination.
Our project was about our research and surveillance efforts for a disease called invasive pneumococcal disease, which is a serious vaccine preventable disease. And our concerted efforts and surveillance of pneumococcal disease in New Zealand provided us the opportunity to see unusual incidents, and our evidence provided to the Ministry of Health and the Public Health Agency, and ultimately Pharmac with regards to childhood vaccination schedules, led to policy change. In December of 2022, a new vaccine was introduced for children. As a result of that change, we saw a reduction of invasive pneumococcal disease cases in children of about 50% in children under 5.
So the Pacific Risk Tool for Resilience Partner Project focuses on co-developing risk information for the Pacific Islands based on their needs. So we focused on different hazards that the Pacific Islands are facing regularly due to climate change and disaster risks, and developed different models with them to try to suit their needs to plan ahead for these different hazards. So we're working closely with the Pacific community, which is SPC, and then working with 6 different Pacific Island countries, from Tonga and Samoa all the way up to the Marshall Islands. I think collaboration has really made the whole program worthwhile in terms of co-development and having the risk tools developed for the specific needs of the countries, and having them talk about what they're doing well, what's working well for them, and really developing these relationships between the countries has been really worthwhile.
The data supermarket is the first repository that brings together information from various sciences into one place, which is what makes it a bit special.
The collaboration was bringing together the CRIs with that core knowledge or expertise to do with how we use the land and what can we use it for. And then what we've done is made that available on the data supermarket. So people can go and browse it, look at themselves, pull it into their own system to understand what the land use options are.
My job was to take that data and to make it meaningful and accessible for our Māori landowners. So I was involved in creating a user-friendly tool for Māori landowners called Mataro.
Basically, it was Mā Te Haumaroa Te Wai, Flood Resilience Aotearoa. It was a 5-year project to try and understand flooding in New Zealand and work out what we can do about it. This project was hugely collaborative. We had the technical skills for a lot of the where and the what, but pulling in, we had people from universities, from consultancies, individual researchers who had specialties that we needed. It's far more fun to work with a lot of different people, and so bringing together all of the different collaborators, we can actually build a far better understanding of what the problem is, and we can actually start coming up with some meaningful answers.
Give them a big round of applause. Those are your finalists. The award winner worked in an area of huge impact for Aotearoa New Zealand. The team exemplified the collaborative spirit the award celebrates, with a genuinely wide-ranging network spanning government, science and health sectors, including the Ministry of Health's Communicable Diseases team, PHARMAC, the Public Health Agency, the Immunisation Advisory Centre, clinical infectious disease specialists and academics from the universities of Otago and Auckland. Notably, the collaboration also worked across roles in PHF science itself, with epidemiologists, public health physicians, and microbiology reference laboratory scientists working together. And the winner is the invasive pneumococcal disease team from PHF Science. Just take a seat for a moment. We picked you early. No, we're going to watch the video first. That's right. Take a seat. No, take a seat first. We're going to the video.
Research project is about surveillance we have in invasive pneumococcal disease. And there are multiple subtypes of this disease. And even with vaccines, however, about 300,000 children die annually from this disease. Our team noticed a slight uptick in a specific subtype of this disease in New Zealand in children. With regards to collaborating with the Ministry of Health and the Public Health Agency, and ultimately with PHARMAC, ensuring that they had the most up-to-date evidence-informed policy change with regards to childhood vaccination schedule. This collaboration also expanded upon us collaborating with stakeholders in the community, specifically clinical infectious disease physicians, also infectious disease researchers, and also immunization and vaccination advocacy groups, to make sure that we all were considering a wide range of perspectives of the problem so we could find the best solution.
I'd now like to welcome the Institute of Advanced Technology Board Chair, Steve O'Connor, and our winners to the stage to collect their award. Give them a big round of applause. And if you'd like to come and stand on the tee right here, stand in there, and come right up to the line, toes up to the line for our photographer. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Our second award category is the Success in Innovation Commercialisation Award. This award headlines examples of financial success, spin-outs and researchers achieving an innovation and the commercial world. The finalists demonstrate the special capabilities that Science New Zealand members bring to the table. Our finalists have developed products, services, or enterprises that bring the future a step closer and show a commitment to delivering sustainable, repeatable, and measurable growth. So let's take a look.
So we've been working to improve the commercialisation models from the vast array of breeding programs that the Bioeconomy Science Institute operates. We're talking hops, apples, berry fruit, potatoes, all sorts of things, both here in Aotearoa, New Zealand and offshore. Our commercialisation models have been a success. They've been improving the impact of our varieties, delivering across the value chain, and improving our ability to share in the benefit delivered by those. Over the past 10 years, BSI has increased its royalty revenue by more than 300%. That's fantastic and enables us to invest back in more science, to deliver more impact to growers, to marketers, to consumers, to the New Zealand economy, and improving outcomes for all.
This project is a novel way of getting the latest DNA technology directly into the hands of our agricultural industry. It was identified back in the 90s that most of the work internationally is being done in cattle, and with New Zealand being such a large sheep and deer farming country, the need was identified to bring the latest technology to New Zealand. Genomes has been a success because it brings the latest DNA technology to the industry and is a financially sustainable business.
We have a 600-tonne experimental land-based kingfish farm, and we're trying to prove its commercial viability for New Zealand. We have built the farm. We are still fine-tuning a few of the details with the system itself, but we are now supplying premium kingfish to the New Zealand market, Australia and the United States. Just fine-tuning the operations, really.
The project came about 8 years ago, a chance meeting with Agrosea, where they said that they had a side stream of seaweeds. We've been working over the last 8 years to be able to take that side stream and make something valuable out of it. It's a good demonstration of how a biofinery can be used to not only reduce waste, but also to produce something valuable. I really like to be able to transition fundamental research into something that can be used in the real world. So having the opportunity to work with Agrosea and implement our science in the real world is really, really exciting.
New Zealand exports $9.7 billion of dairy powders that used for ingredients in other foods. So we thought that it would be very easy to have a tool that could scan and get the quality and tell how that powder performs when it's used as an ingredient. But what is very interesting about this interaction with the commercialization partnership team is be able to see something that comes from our ideas, then becomes something that's used by the industry, a tool that has practical use. I mean, science is always important, but it's really nice to see when that becomes a useful tool in the industry.
Give our finalists a big round of applause. And now some feedback from the judges on this award. The award winner is a textbook example of what this award is designed to celebrate. Science that has moved from the lab into the commercial world with lasting, measurable results. The business unit has developed genomic platforms, genotyping by sequencing services, and nationally integrated breeding value systems that are now industry standards across New Zealand's livestock sector. Their genomic technologies have led to improved productivity, better survival rates, and environmental efficiency over the long term across New Zealand's economically vital primary sector, supporting economic growth and the country's international reputation. The winner of this award is Genome New Zealand from the Bioeconomy Science Institute. Give them a big round of applause. And as a reminder, let's take a look at the wonderful work they've done.
Genomes is the culmination of about 30 years of effort in terms of development of DNA technologies. The research has been undertaken over those years by Many different partners, including beef and lamb, ag research, central government in form of MB and MPI, and as well as that, the industry, and that has culminated in the products that we have today. The innovation and commercialisation has been a success because this business now operates as a fully cost recoverable business within the BSI and continues to innovate and bring new products to our industries.
Wonderful. Please welcome back Steve O'Connor and the winners to the stage to collect this award. Well done. Congratulations. We are moving into category number 3, and this is the Individual Lifetime Achievement Award, which celebrates outstanding contributions to advancing Aotearoa New Zealand's economic, environmental, social, or cultural well-being through their work or for a specific discovery, development, or application. This award recognises specific achievements as well as contributions over one's career. So let's take a look at the finalists.
We've been completely reworking the classification that's used for Ascomycete fungi globally. It wasn't always fungi for me. It came with the job in a way. But the job has been so interesting that, that fungi have kind of come to life in some ways. I've been doing it for 50 years. It's a long time. It kind of keeps you grounded, attached to the, kind of real world, if you like. Fungal taxonomy can be a bit of an esoteric kind of subject in a way. The applied work kind of reminds you about why you're doing the more basic taxonomic stuff and why it's useful.
I'm a forensic toxicologist. I set up the toxicology laboratory, started it in Wellington Hospital when I first started my career in 1971. I'm very interested in chemistry, but I'm also very interested in the effect these drugs have on people. And because these were causing so much harm and was beginning to cause harm in New Zealand, that's why I became very interested and wanted to try and reduce the harm in our communities.
I just love science generally, and I've ended up with a career where I've had an oversight of all of NIWA's science, right across freshwater, marine, as well as climate and atmosphere, and it's been absolutely fantastic. But I also love the ocean, and part of my role has been to oversee the management of our research ships, and including the replacement of one of our vessels and building a brand new one. So it's been a pretty exciting journey.
My interest in volcanology was probably first sparked by my grandfather and my father. They were both in aviation, and through their flying careers and helicopters, etc., they supported scientists, flew them around the volcanoes. Also, I was brought up as a teenager in Rotorua, and it's pretty hard not to be aware of the volcanic environment. The job involved a lot of outdoor work, and basically, I was getting paid to go tramping in all these areas that I went on the weekends. And my love of science and the development of science came after enjoying the amazing environments that we got to work in.
So the classifications that I first worked with when I started were developed in the 19th and early 20th centuries. It's up to us to kind of get it right now, and so they'll be used well into the future. And I think, that's a good thing to have done, I think.
One of my achievements was making PhD of Science in International Toxicology Laboratory. Well, I've enjoyed the effect we have had, particularly in the communities, helping reduce drug harm by working with overseas early warning systems.
One of the highlights of my career was the establishment of the volcano monitoring capability, and then taking that capability and interfacing it with emergency management and responding agencies in New Zealand. It's all very well if we monitor the volcanoes, but if we don't share that with the responding agencies and don't help them prepare for the hazards and what's associated with it, it's a little bit wasted.
I think the biggest challenge is making sure that New Zealand recognises the importance of science in its future, and it's changing rapidly at the moment, particularly with the introduction of data science and AI. It's going to change the way we do science, but it's also going to enable us to answer and ask different questions. So I would always encourage people to go into science. It's constantly changing and you're learning something new every day.
Please give our finalists a big round of applause. I just think it's so wonderful to see the stories behind all of these incredible humans, just amazing. So some feedback from our judges. The award winner exemplifies exactly what this award is designed to recognise: a long career of exceptional scientific rigour, combined with genuine, lasting impact on New Zealand communities. This person did not just analyse drugs. She built the systems, forged the partnerships, and worked with communities to make sure her science actually protected people. This is a thoroughly deserved Lifetime Achievement Award. It is my very great pleasure to announce your award winner, Diana Kapitos from PHF Science. And as a reminder, we have a short video.
I'm a forensic toxicologist. I set up the toxicology laboratory, started it in Wellington Hospital when I first started my career in 1971. And my particular interest is in the NPSs, which is the novel psychoactive substances, which are causing a lot of harm worldwide, including in New Zealand. At PHF Science, we analyse drugs coming through the border. Now, other organisations involved analyse what's going on in their environment, and we work with the ED departments where they get them analysed through the Department of Health. So we all are working together to find out what is coming into New Zealand and what is causing harm.
Well done, well done. So please welcome to the stage the Earth Sciences New Zealand Board Chair David Small and Diana Kapitos to the stage to collect her award. Amazing. Well done. Let's give her a big congratulations. Our fourth award this afternoon is the Early Career Researcher Award. This award recognises the importance of early career researchers for delivering excellent research that benefits Aotearoa New Zealand and on its promotion and dissemination. Our finalists have all made outstanding contributions to the values and purpose of their organisations through their research and engagement with colleagues, partners, and wider community, both nationally and internationally. So let's take a look at the finalists.
I got into geology through doing architecture for a year, which I successfully failed at. I think partway through that course I had begun to miss the sciences a little bit and also realised that my morals were tending towards a bit more than building and designing fancy houses for rich people and more about, you know, how can we look after this beautiful earth that we've been given. So my area of research is looking at how ice sheets impact sea level rise. What I'm really focused on at the moment is how Antarctica and Greenland might interact with each other to create different patterns of sea level rise.
I think I was interested in science from a very early age because of my mother, who was a botany teacher. I think those early experiences shaped an interest in science within me that I carried all along. Since I've been at PHF, I've been working on microbial water quality, looking at emerging pathogens, and looking at biopolymer mimics. What we're trying to do is to apply bacteriophages or viruses that infect and kill bacteria to help and reduce the burden of bacteria in drinking water distribution systems.
I wasn't privileged to come from a family that does farming. However, I was always concerned about food. What I loved doing was growing stuff behind the house. Could be tomatoes or anything. And that started my interest. Pivotal moment was when I was an undergrad. And that was when I got the admission into the School of Ag. And so that was the pivotal moment, where I'm looking at using my skill set as a plant pathologist in the area of disease control and pathogen control. So the first aspect that I've been looking at is working with the livestock or pastoral industry to be able to find ways that we can shift away from using chemicals in treating some of the diseases.
Always been really interested in science. I remember growing up watching David Attenborough documentaries and Steve Irwin. So always been really keen on the natural environment. And I guess I just really wanted to understand what drives the relationships we see, how to make the environment stable, how to protect it. And then I came to New Zealand to do my PhD at Lincoln University with Hume, and that was studying weed invasions globally. So that really broadened my horizons, which led me now to studying weed invasions in New Zealand specifically. Wild and conifers has been the main area of my research. So I've been heavily involved in a 5-year MB Endeavour program called Vivre la Resistance, and that's been trying to understand why these pines keep coming back and re-invading the same ecosystems over time.
My interest started back in probably when I was a little kid. Specifically, I was interested in numbers. That got me really interested in things like astronomy. I can have that classic dream to be an astronaut, and that lingered around with me until I went to university. I'm interested in how weather systems will change in a warmer climate. Things like record-shattering weather events, like the likes of Auckland Anniversary and Cyclone Gabrielle, and I really want to understand what's in store for us by 2100.
My interest in science started from a young age. I used to love volcanoes and dinosaurs as a kid. I initially thought I would study physics, but I took an option in geology and we went on some field trips to some remote, windswept Scottish islands. I've always really loved the outdoors, so getting to go spend some time in the field, I really enjoyed that from the get-go. My main project at the moment is looking at the re-injection of CO2 into geothermal reservoirs, as well as the benefits of keeping that CO2 out of the atmosphere, keeping it underground for longer. It also has beneficial effects in terms of maintaining the porosity and permeability of the reservoir, and that's obviously something that would incentivize operators to deploy that technology more rapidly.
What I love about the work I do is the people I get to work with every day. We can start in the laboratory at a very small scale, looking at what we love to do and what really makes a difference in the world.
Because as you grow your career, you don't know where things take you, where opportunities take you. So being able to have this platform to really talk about what I'm doing together with my team is an exciting moment.
Going to a conference, giving a presentation, and then the first time having people walk up to shake your hand afterwards and start asking you questions, it's really, really gratifying knowing that people are interested and that you're making an impact with the work that you're doing.
I think that's the coolest part about doing research into climate science, is that you get to do this cutting-edge research, but it's useful and usable for people, right? I like doing it because I can think about science, but also because I can, do something meaningful for people.
I think success for me is about seeing science be used and usable for the general public. I'd like to see my research one day being used by somebody to make their life better.
Give them all a big round of applause. Gosh, some incredible, incredible stories there. Well, feedback from the judges. The award winner made an impression across all 3 award criteria: outstanding research excellence, contribution to their organisation, and promotion and communication of research. She has published in high-impact journals, been involved in inter-nation expeditions to Greenland and the Antarctic, described by her co-workers as a generous mentor and collaborator, contributing to a high-performing research culture, and been involved with community groups in Northland and the Coromandel. Her all-round contribution at an early stage of her career is what stood out. The winner of this award is Dr. Georgia Grant from Earth Sciences New Zealand. So let's take a look at her video.
So my area of research is looking at how ice sheets impact sea level rise. I have loved just places that I've been able to go to and the people that I've worked with. Antarctica, Greenland, lots of travels to US and Europe and UK to work with different experts in different places. The beauty of being such nerds that you don't need to speak the same language but can still communicate is just something that's really fun. I think success for me is about seeing science be used and usable for the general public, where have made great gains in understanding that we need to be working alongside communities and co-designing projects and developing those science questions together so that what we're doing is of use to anyone. Yeah, that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see my research one day being used by somebody to make their life better.
Amazing. I'd like to welcome back to the stage David Small and Georgia Grant to collect her award. Well done. Congratulations. Wonderful. Well, our last award category is Te Tohu Tūhura, Charter a Course for Impact through Partnering with Māori Award. This exciting new award was developed in partnership between Science New Zealand and Te Ara Pūtaiao, the Pan-CRI Māori Leadership Group. The award celebrates champions of Te Ao Māori and Pūtaiao research, delivering tangible impact for Aotearoa New Zealand, where the mahi is conducted in genuine partnership with Māori. Our finalists are individuals or teams who have demonstrated a two-way exchange between Pūtaiao and Te Ao Māori, tikanga, te reo, mātauranga, including through the recognition of kaitiakitanga, and have contributed to a unique Aotearoa New Zealand knowledge set that delivers impact. The research process has delivered outcomes that are beneficial to both partners, including through novel benefit sharing arrangements and demonstrated effort to sustain an enduring relationship with Māori. So let's take a look at the finalists.
So we've been working towards the restoration of Kaikomako Manuatafi, the only female tree of her kind out on one of our remote islands. There's been repropagation, the mapping of where those plants have gone, and then we've done our own work to create more. And we also had around 150 from Manaaki Whenua returned to us.
This is a partnership that goes back 50 years to days of the DSIR, through Manaaki Whenua Land Care Research, through to the Bioeconomy Science Institute. And it's been supporting Ngāti Kuri in its aspirations to look after its taonga throughout that time.
So the kaupapa was to look at many different things, hazards and things that climate change has had an effect on the particular area around the Waido Bar, sea level rise, all kaupapa like that. But the other part of it too was that key part around getting a good understanding of the iwi and what they knew and what sort of they could bring to the table. There's a lot of experiences and knowledge that whānau had that's never been brought to the forefront. Seeing the similarities of what the Western science has and lining it up with the mātauranga Māori has been a really awesome experience.
Te Hiotai is a Māori impact-led initiative to increase the number of Māori in STEM.
We partner with Pūhoro STEM Academy to include dual knowledge systems such as Mātauranga Māori and modern science, and a Māori innovation approach within the science, innovation and technology system.
They invest in supporting us with wānanga in secondary. In tertiary they support through scholarship, and through industry they support us with internships.
We're really interested in building a workforce for the future, and it means that we need to support our rangatahi and tauira Māori now to involve themselves in STEM.
And so it was critical for us to find ways across our longitudinal pathway that we could do this. Our partnership with PHF Science has enabled us to do just that.
Ngā Matua Tāne research is a research area dedicated, led by Māori within Transforming Tree Phenotyping program. It's an endeavour program for 5 years that looks at understanding the characteristics of trees that are important to industry. And what we're trying to do is understand the characteristics of native species that are important to Māori. Māori are significant stakeholders in the forestry sector. They own the land underneath a lot of the forests. And so their role in being involved in forestry research in particular, from a New Zealand perspective, that is critical.
When Māori first came to New Zealand, they discovered this incredibly strong metal-like material, and it transformed their lives. I've been working with Ngāi Tahu for about 2 decades and trying to understand the pounamu and trying to give them the geological knowledge that they need to manage the resources.
So one of the hopes for us when we answer the question, why is pounamu tough, is that we will help the carvers in a practical way, help them assess the quality of pounamu. There may well also be spin-offs for material science in general.
Being involved in partnerships like this takes time and requires long-term investment. You've got to be in it for the long game, but if you are, you get an awful lot of treasure from it.
Give them a big round of applause. And now for the feedback from the judges. The award winner shows what's possible when science and mātauranga work in genuine partnership, and the value of a relationship that is built on trust over decades rather than over a single project. This award celebrates that commitment. The judges noted that all the finalists had strong research deliverables and were developing strong relationships. The winner stood out for the depth of the partnership that had developed over time and its contribution to the goals of the iwi. The judges also noted that many of the finalists had a strong capability building element. The winner stood out for its combination of capability growth and impact delivery through research partnership. And the winner is Maiangi Taio, partnership with the Ngāti Kuri Trust Board and the Bioeconomy Science Institute. So let's take a look as a bit of a refresher at their story.
Our goal as a iwi was to restore the mana of our island, and part of that was to actually bring back the kaikomaku manuatawhi.
This is a partnership that goes back 50 years to days of the DSIR, through Manaaki Whenua Landcare Research, through to the Bioeconomy Science Institute. It's a very important relationship based on moana, whenua and tangata.
I think we have the same goals and aspirations at times, we just have different ways to get there. But critical is actually doing co-design with mana whenua in the beginning, not go and get your funding and then come and have a talk to us later and we're the add-on after the fact.
It's no longer that boy have I got a deal for you kind of approach to science, but listening hard, going to hui, going to wānanga and saying how can we support, what are the skills and capabilities that we can bring that will help answer your questions, and then how can we build capacity within you so that you can do that yourself if that's what you want to do.
Amazing, give them another big round of applause. I'd now like to welcome the PHF Science Board Chair, Professor Sarah Young, and the winners to the stage to collect their award. Stand on the line. All right, it's time for the Supreme Award. Our final award of the evening is the Supreme Award, and it goes to a winner from the 5 award categories that, in the opinion of the judging panel chairs, has best exemplified the values and purpose of the Science New Zealand members in contributing to Aotearoa New Zealand's economic, environmental, social or cultural well-being. And it is my very, very great pleasure to announce the winner is Genome New Zealand from the Bioeconomy Science Institute. If you'd like to come up to the stage. Congratulations. And I believe I'd like to welcome back Professor Sarah Young. Thank you to present the award.
Thank you very much to Science New Zealand for this award. It's a real honour for Genomes and the team, especially given the quality of all the finalists. Firstly, we'd like to acknowledge the breeders. None of this work matters without industry backing the technology and being willing to adopt the innovation on farm. I also want to acknowledge the BSI Animal Genomics team, whose science, innovation and commitment have been behind so much of what Genomes delivers today. One thing we are particularly proud of in Genomes is our ability to rapidly move science into industry application. We'll continue reinvesting into research, continuing to improve our genomic platforms and making sure innovation keeps flowing back into the sector. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations to our Supreme Award winners there, and of course to all of our finalists and our winners this evening. Can we give them all a big round of applause? I'd also like to say a very big thank you to all of you who are attending in real life and also everybody watching online tonight as well. Thank you for joining us for such a wonderful occasion. I'd also like to acknowledge the team of Science New Zealand for all their hard work putting this incredible event together. Haven't they done amazing? Give them a round of applause. For our guests in the room here with me, I'd like to invite you all to stick around for some networking and some canapes. If you're at home, you can entertain yourself, I'm sure. Winners, we do ask you to have your photos taken over on the beautiful photo wall, so we ask you to head on over there very shortly. And if any of you have received an invitation to the post-awards dinner tonight, you are asked to make your way to the Legislative Council chamber at 7 p.m, which is out that way, across the bridge and through the double doors. But if you get lost, ask one of the team or talk to wonderful Kate there at the end. Well, I want to say thank you so much. It's been an absolute honour to facilitate your awards today. You don't know me, but deep in my heart, I'm a science geek through and through. So this makes me immensely happy to see just how wonderful Aotearoa scientists truly are. So in closing tonight, I wanted to leave us with a whakatauki. Whaia te iti kahurangi ki te tuohu koe me he maunga teitei. Pursue excellence. If you bow, let it be to a lofty mountain. Ko Monique Bradley tōka wingawa, he kai kōrero aho. Engari, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou, katoa, kia ora.